Thank you all for joining us tonight for our third brand ambassador and promo industry update. It's still a rough time out there for everyone in the industry, and I'm glad to have our panel of experts out here to provide some insight, guidance, and advice to all the brand ambassadors, the promo workers out there that they're going through a rough time, that need some guidance and direction, and really want to, make the most of this downtime for themselves and, really try to up their skills and experience. So my name is Al Schuster. I am the president and owner of Polaris Brand Promotions. We are a nationwide experiential agency based right outside of Philadelphia, serving clients coast to coast. Not right now, but hopefully we will be again soon. So let me start off by introducing our panelists real quick, just by name. We have Breyona Bolden, Gabrielle Goldklank, Matthew Coxon, Andraea Proctor, if I pronounced all those correctly. If not, oops, sorry. So as I stated, our purpose is to just get our panelists' expert opinion and insight into how the COVID-19 epidemic has impacted them, their clients, their businesses, and talk to you a little bit about what they do as well. So figured we'd get started kind of from the top. Our brand ambassador extraordinaire, Breyona Bolden, why don't you take a couple minutes just to tell us about yourself, about the work you do, and how this has impacted you and your business.
Hi everyone, I'm Breyona. I have been a brand ambassador full-time for about 6 years now. I actually got into the industry when I was just 12 years old, working under the table. And I would say the way COVID-19 has impacted me is that I was super booked for March and April, and just about all of those events were canceled. I do demos, in-store demos, trade shows, conventions, just about everything. I try to stay away from sign spinning, I'm not gonna lie. But I do it all. And just about all of my events, actually all of my events did get canceled because I was mainly booked to do in-store demonstrations, and all retailers put a halt to that. What else I was supposed to say? How COVID has impacted me. But other than all of my events being canceled, I had no idea how my bills were going to get paid. I decided to get a little creative online with finding work and kind of creating opportunities for myself. That's actually kind of landed me in a few good places. And I just been staying active on Facebook more than I used to, and just staying active during this time until I get back to being busy again.
All right, thank you for joining us tonight. Next up, we have Gabrielle Goldklank from Golden Yacht Services. So thanks for joining us, Gabrielle.
Thanks, Al, for having me. Hi, my name is Gabrielle Goldklank with Golden Yacht Services. We plan events and weddings on yachts all across the country. Right now we work with close to 70 yachts. We cater to groups of all sizes, really from 5 to 10 group sizes all the way up to 1,200. So we can accommodate a lot. I have still been getting inquiries during this time. Luckily, I had a baby in August, so I was, at the end of last year, I kind of took it slow. So luckily, I didn't really have a lot of events in the beginning of the year because I kind of took it slow. And I definitely would have lost money if I booked events and had them going on in the beginning of the year, March, April. So I'm kind of glad that the timing worked out for me and I didn't go into this whole with that kind of stress, because it definitely would have impacted that. So Breyona, I did what you did. I stayed active. I did kind of a rebranding unintentionally. I've done a lot of marketing. I'm exploring a lot with video. So I'm using this time to stay active on that sense and work on the inquiries that I have been getting. And luckily I work across the country. So I'm working on something in San Diego. I've worked on something in Hawaii, DC. So I'm all over the place, and I'm fortunate for that. I'm not just with anyone just in one spot. Mm-hmm. All across the country, there's a lot of places that are getting impacted differently. Jersey's in one place where I live now, but California is a little different. So I'm taking, it's kind of good for my business. So I think with that being said, I think this COVID-19, it's affecting people differently, and not everyone is in the same boat, pun intended, but not everyone is in the same boat. So you do have to stay active. You have to assume everyone is staying active because you'll miss out. Right now, I just know that I just want to be ahead of the game, and I know a lot of my competitors and even my yacht partners, they're taking it, you know, they're just in a different situation. So I think what's best for everyone to do is stay active and assume everyone is still doing what they're supposed to do, and not assuming that everyone's just relaxing, kind of taking it chill. Because I do think that when all this is over, you will definitely be behind. So that's my biggest advice, because it is affecting me a little differently.
All right, thanks, Gabrielle. And next up, we have Matthew Cox from the American Association of Event Professionals. How you doing, Matt?
I'm very well. How are you, Al? Thank you for having me on. So I think you're looking for a little background and then kind of how we're handling this. Is that right? I just want to make sure.
Exactly.
I got that straight. Okay, great. So I've been in the experiential industry for a little over 15 years. I'm really lucky, like the light, you don't see the gray, 10 years of agency life has definitely sucked a lot of color out of my hair. But I started as a brand ambassador. Like I just, putting candy bars in hands, like starting, like just doing brand ambassador things. And I ended up on a national tour, which at the time, like I honestly didn't even know what a touring BA was. And it was like, it was an 11-month tour. And so I got so lucky because it's like, you want to like go out and cut your teeth, and like experience it all. I got to really experience it. And that turned over into a multi-year contract. And so I got a lot of experience in, in every type of parking lot, in every convention center. Like, it's funny, I think about how many times I've eaten, and I'm going to probably goof it, but is it Reading Square, Reading Terminal that's there in Philadelphia?
Reading, yeah.
You know somebody who knows it and somebody doesn't when they say Reading. It's like they get outed right away. So I've eaten so many meals there, beginning that convention center that's right next door. But I started in the experiential industry, just doing BA stuff. I was lucky. I moved over to the agency side and had worked at an agency from 2010 to 2019. And then I just thought, I think there's an opportunity in our industry to level up, and I think that, I'll get into this in a second, but, like you look at whether it's event technology or event vehicles or trade show booths or like photo stuff, everything has gone through like 10 different evolutions in the last 15 years or 20 years or 30 years. And so I think, for whether it's the experiential agency or whether it's a staffing agency or whether it's a brand ambassador, I think that there's that opportunity on that side. And so that is why I started the American Association of Event Professionals with 2 partners, and we launched in December. And our goal is to be a resource for the brand ambassadors that are out there, that are working those jobs day to day. So how can they, be more professional, but how can they get the skills they need? How can we professionalize the industry and create, everything that, that group needs? So that's where I'm at. As far as how has this affected me, just like everybody else, like there's no work. So, I'm trying to do what I can to better myself, but then also like pass that along, So I've been part of a couple other live streams, and I really appreciate those opportunities. And, so I'm trying to share knowledge that I have from the last 15 years, and I'm still trying to increase my knowledge, so I've got Duolingo on my phone and it sends me the message, hey, you're late for Spanish class, so I'm trying to do what I can in this downtime. So.
All right, great. Thanks, Matthew. And finally, we have Andraea Proctor. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. So I'm Andraea, like you said, and I am the VP of Partnerships over at HIO. And what HIO is an app for relationship building and networking for event professionals. So event hosts or organizers, they host their event on HIO. It adds to their physical events that they were having before COVID-19 started. Their attendees could walk around with phone in hand, make connections right away. No business cards needed. They could see the sponsors, the exhibitors that were there, the agenda, live chat inside of the app, all of those things. And so we really just are based on relationships, making relationships between attendees, between exhibitors and sponsors, with the people who are attending these conferences, professional meetups, and things of that nature. And since COVID-19 has hit, we actually, a little different from the rest of you guys here, we have been extremely busy because all of our event partners are suddenly scrambling to find a way to go virtual and to find out how they can make this thing not destroy their business, quite honestly. A lot of them also work with entrepreneurs. So if they are a professional networking group, they have a lot of entrepreneurs who are their members. And those people survive on those referrals that they get from those networking sessions and meetings and things like that. So we have been using this time to work on a great new set of virtual features, create our own video platform. Soon we'll be going live with a desktop version of HIO because right now we're only a mobile app, but just making it so that during this time, we don't know when conferences and events that were in full swing of tens of thousands of people will be back in effect, or even the ones that were 25 people, but we want to make sure that we give as many opportunities as possible for those connections to keep happening for those event hosts, as well as the people who want to find networking events near them. So that's kind of what we've been doing. We have a lot of new features, a lot of new users who are really looking to connect. I know people are really craving that relationships that they used to be making at their events all over the place. So that's what we're trying to do, is just create any kind of feature that creates positive experiences and makes these small businesses thrive.
All right, thank you so much. Well, next part of our webinar tonight is some directed questions specific to our panelists and their background. I'll start off with you, Bray. I just want to say we normally don't have brand ambassadors on just because we want to be able to be in the position to provide resources and whatnot to brand ambassadors to help them right now. But I must say, I have just been extremely impressed by your level of self-branding as a brand ambassador. Last I checked, you have a website, a YouTube channel, and I see you all the time on social media. So being as you are so great at personal branding, what advice do you have for brand ambassadors right now to help themselves to grow their own personal brand, especially those who are underemployed or unemployed, who kind of, with their brand ambassador work, whether it's part-time brand ambassador work or the full-time gig workers or tour workers?
So I understand that during this time, many brand ambassadors are really stressed because we have no idea if we're going to be able to get unemployment. We have no idea when our next paycheck is going to come in, especially from previous events that have been worked. A lot of paychecks have been delayed. And I mean, you all aren't alone. I'm going crazy inside as well, but I just try to channel that energy. What I suggest is, of course, making use of your time. I know a lot of people have been saying, work on your resume, work on your headshots. And some brand ambassadors may be tired of hearing it, but that's what we really should be doing during this time. We should be, I do my resume, I want to say at least once a month. I redo it, and I just redid it again 2 days ago. I have an extensive resume, and then I have a shortened resume. But I always feel like there's always room for improvement as brand ambassadors. And I think the first step, honestly, would be just to sit back and think about, okay, who am I? Who, if I want to brand myself, how would I brand myself? How do I want to go about working within the industry? How long do I want to stay in the industry? And I think that once you answer those questions, it'll be easier for brand ambassadors to brand themselves. Okay. It's more than just, oh, what colors do I like? Do I want business cards, or do I want to start a website? It's more so as to, who am I and how do I want to represent myself to agencies, to clients? in addition to headshots and resumes and logos and websites, I would say to just get out there and talk to agencies, pick their brains, be creative. Now's the time to be creative, get creative and create opportunity for yourself. A lot of brand ambassadors feel like they just kind of have to sit back and wait for agencies to post jobs. When in fact, you can be contacting these agencies like, hey, are you still in contact with your clients? Pick their brains to figure out what direction the clients want to go in. Do they want to start doing some type of virtual events? Are you able to make yourself useful in these virtual events? But all in all, I would say just sit back, reflect as to where you were, who you are right now, and where you want to be in the near future, and create that person, create that brand. I think I answered the question.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Matthew from the American Association of Event Professionals. Matthew, I just want to commend you for all the great work the organization has been doing lately. I've tried to catch a few of your own webinars. I know you do something similar to this, targeted towards brand ambassadors and gig workers with having experts on. And thank you for doing that. I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about the organization, certainly describe it better than I can. Tell us what your mission is and what some of your goals are.
Absolutely. So, much like all industries, at some point they go through a phase of professionalization, and I think that it's the point that comes where you see real people that are really serious about the industry, Breyona, you are an excellent example of somebody that is super serious about the industry. When you talk about, you've got a couple resumes, you do LinkedIn, you do social media, you do a website, like all of that stuff, like those are telltale signs of somebody that's really serious. And I think that we're at that point where our industry is going through that evolution. I know from an agency side, that's where, we were looking for brand ambassadors that were professionals, that were really serious about their job, because it's really hard to, go back to your clients when you've got, 6-figure, 7-figure contracts and explain why something didn't go right. And it sometimes happens because you've got, a brand ambassador that's like, I'm just here for 4 hours or 8 hours. They're like, man, I had so much fun partying last night. And they misrepresent a brand. And, I think that our agency has seen that. We've also seen the most amazing people. I've worked with some of the best brand staff possible where, they're really professional. They show up, they're in the brand, they look good, they smell good. I mean, everything is perfect. And you're like, why can't it always be like this? So our goal is to, kind of help the cream rise, but also provide all the tools for everyone to understand, what is expected. How can I, get further along in my career? Also a lot of brand ambassadors don't necessarily have a mentor the way some of us might have, so if I worked at an agency for 9 years, I had a manager that would guide me along the way. Whereas brand ambassadors, it's like you've got your field manager or you're the field manager. You got a different account person you're working with 5 times a week or whatever. They all have different standards, and so it's really hard to know how to develop your career as field staff, and then even if you say, hey, I don't want to work in the field forever. I want to get into agency life, or I want to become a tour manager. Or I want to be a production manager. How do you do that? So we want to make sure that we clarify all of that, and we help pave some roadways for that. And then, we also want to make things better for the brand ambassadors, so we want to, help identify who some of the best brand ambassadors are, but we also want to, help set some standards on what is fair and how brand ambassadors should be treated. So we know that, sometimes there's brand ambassadors that take advantage of agencies, and sometimes there's agencies that take advantage of brand ambassadors, and neither situation is acceptable. So, our goal is to, like I say, professionalize, legitimize the industry. And, we believe that the work that we're doing will allow the professional brand ambassadors to make more money and get more jobs, so that's our goal.
All right. Great, Matt. Thank you very much. Gabrielle, I have to admit, before I met you, I didn't even know there was such a thing as a yacht broker that actually existed. So, and it's been an absolute pleasure connecting with you and other people within the event industry. You know, you have a very unique niche in the event space, you know, catering to weddings and other upscale events on yachts. So I wanted to find out from you specifically, you know, what have you been hearing from yacht vendors, yacht owners, and, you know, in regards to their event space, you know, when they'll resume, how they'll be impacted, what changes they will have post COVID-19 in the new normal, so to speak.
Yeah. So luckily I work with a venue that's very accommodating. I've heard a lot of venues throughout the country that haven't been as accommodating for their clients. You know, they'll say, oh, well, if you want to reschedule, you have to reschedule on a Wednesday, even though they paid for a Saturday. In the summer, they're only letting them reschedule from a Monday to Wednesday. And they're not even letting them reschedule for 2021 at all. They're making them have that wedding or event this year, which is crazy because I'm just not experiencing that at all. So I'm very fortunate that I just work with a type of venue that's just more focused on the client and making them happy. And I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that. They're a little, you know, the partners, my partners, their office staff is down to maybe 1 or 2 people. So as far as their sales staff, so I'm in a unique position because my partners are also my competition. So now my partners, my competition has dramatically reduced because they've reduced their office staff. So now I hope to use that to my advantage. But it's just interesting because I just don't have as many people competing against me because these yacht owners have a sales staff as well that we're competing for almost the same kind of business. So that's a little unique there. I've also noticed that when I call them with a lead, they're a lot more excited and grateful when I call them for a lead than they were before. So I think they're, you know, maybe they're valuing me a little bit more just because they're a little limited too. The vendors, I mean, it's kind of like we've all gotten closer. All the vendors in the event, you know, we've all gotten closer because we're all going through something very unique together. And the first thing I always say is, how are you doing? Like, you know, how are you doing? How's everything going? And it's almost like the relationships are getting stronger at this point. So I think that the relationships with the vendors and the yacht partners that I work with, I just think the relationships are going to just mean a lot more now just because we're a little more dependent on each other. And we want to make sure we're all okay. And yeah, I mean, I just know that my yacht partners who are also my competition, that their sales staff is dramatically reduced. So I just, you know, they might not hire all those people back. So it's just very interesting for me to work with these people. They're just, anytime I call them, it's just a very different kind of attitude than what I'm going through because I haven't gone through all the drama in the office and maybe the fears of them possibly getting furloughed or unemployed. I haven't gone through that, so I'm just in a different position. But that's what I'm dealing with. But I'm very thankful at the end of the day that the yachts are very accommodating as far as a venue because there's a lot of venues out there that they're kind of putting themselves first. And I guess, you know, who knows what you would do in that situation, but it just doesn't really seem fair. But also on the upside, the inquiries I've been getting, there are a lot of plan Bs. They're like, hey, we couldn't do this. Now we're just down to 10 people and we need to do this. We wanted to make it fun and interesting. So now it's like, wait, we need to make this really good. And so a yacht is maybe becoming a little more just, you know, now the cost isn't as much because the group size is dramatically lower and they feel the need to make it super special because it is a plan B and the couple just went through a crazy thing or, you know, the event planning went through a crazy thing. So I'm going through a weird, it's kind of weird, but I think I am experiencing something a little different than my yacht partners and the vendors, you know, they're just really glad when I call them with a lead.
All right, great. And finally, Andraea, you likewise have a very unique position in the event industry, being a platform that allows event planners and hosts to not only promote their events, but also to help their attendees connect through them. But obviously, with the absence of the the in-person business events and networking events and whatnot, what are you hearing from your clients as to how they're pivoting their business model and how you're pivoting the HIO business model? If you could kind of elaborate a little bit more on what you'd mentioned before.
Sure, of course. So actually pre-COVID-19, we at HIO thought that virtual events and virtual things of some nature would be the future for event organizers and planners, at least in part. So we had already started beforehand doing some things to really get our virtual systems up and running for people to network at events, at physical events, host virtual events and network there. Also feature their exhibitors, their sponsors, brand ambassadors, I'm sure as well. And so we had started that beforehand, but the tough part for us was getting those event hosts who were so set and used to physical events to be educated about the virtual event space. Once COVID-19 hit, that education piece was kind of out the window. Everyone has been pivoting, and we have seen all of our partners take great strides, even the ones we thought would be last to adopt technology for virtual events. We have seen so many people just come out of the woodwork trying for their member network, for their attendee network, to do things to keep people connected. And it's just been really cool to see how much they want those networking relationships to continue happening, not just for themselves. A lot of them have even dropped the cost for their events completely. They just want their attendees and their members to feel connected, engaged, and valued right now, and to do whatever they can to help foster relationships that can help those businesses stay afloat at this time. So we have seen a lot of pivots there. And then internally, we have pivoted to a complete virtual focus, of course. So that includes the build out of our own platform for, video hosting and marketing different sponsors and exhibitors through, and also realizing that our demographic now is not specifically millennials who are at a trade show on the floor with their phone in their hand. Now our demographic also skews to the people who are just at home networking on a laptop. So we knew we needed to make a desktop version, and we're working on it right now. So that has been where a lot of our focus has gone. So we want to make sure that people can connect and network no matter how or where they're networking from.
All right, awesome. So next part of our webinar, as we usually do, is go around the room with one question and get all of our panelists' opinion on it. First question is, what advice and guidance would you give to brand ambassadors, promo staff, event workers, and gig workers right now? Bray, let's start with you.
Sorry, I had to mute. I would say to just keep your cool and stay optimistic. Create opportunities, like I said before. Allow your creativity to flow, and just look to the future with positivity, because anything's possible. And I do think that that moving forward, that I don't think our industry is going to be canceled. I've been seeing a lot of say so online that basically our industry is, I mean, yes, we're taking a huge hit, but I don't think we're going to be canceled. Like, I think events are still going to happen. It may take some time for larger events to happen and for us to see a faster flow of jobs. But I would just say, stay positive. Because we never know what the future, what lies in the future ahead of us.
All right, thanks. Gabrielle, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are just assume that everyone is staying very active and being a Breyona that's making websites and taking a lot on her own. You have to assume that, because there's really going to be two groups of people. There's going to be people who thrive during this disaster, and there's going to be people who don't. So you want to be on that side that thrives, because there are people that are thriving, just like HIO. I mean, they're thriving right now. So you want to be on that side, and the only way to do that is to stay active, be creative, really take this time to reflect, stay positive. I mean, this is all out of our control, so it just really doesn't help you at all to get stressed. And I know that's easier said than done, but it's just a waste of time, because there are people out there that aren't wasting time. They're not thinking about it. They're just forging ahead. So you got to be thinking like them and just be on that side that's going to thrive.
All right, great. And Andraea, your thoughts?
I would agree. I would just say, agree with the creativity and the idea that you can't come out on the other side of this being left behind. In whatever way you're moving forward for yourself, whether it's learning Spanish or whether it's creating a new income stream, do something to make sure that when you come out of this, you are more secure in your personal and professional life than you were going into this. Because if something like this happens again, I mean, you know, the likelihood might be there, then you want to make sure you're more prepared than we were this time.
All right, thank you. And Matt, your thoughts?
So I think there's a couple things. One, I'll just, you know, selfishly say, join the American Association of Event Professionals. But also, you know, I think that there's probably two other things that you can do. You can follow Breonna's example of, like, you know, update your resume, headshots, you know, improve your skills, you know, like maybe do a little website, stuff like that, so that, you know, staffing managers and, you know, agency folks, it sets you apart, and it really, really, really does, you know. So as an agency guy, you know, like when I would have to, like, look at, you know, my teams would come to me and they'd be like, okay, these are all the brand ambassadors we can pick from, you know, and I've got no time, you know, you want to set yourself apart, you know. So you can follow her example. She's doing a great job. The other thing, I would say there's probably about 30 great staffing companies that are out there, you know, that are experiential event staffing companies. I would proactively reach out to every single one of them. Make sure that you're in their database. Make sure that they know you're there. Like, don't wait for them to post a job. Reach out to them ahead of time and be like, hey, next time you got work, I want to be, you know, on that job. I want an opportunity. It will go so far for you.
All right. Great, thank you. As I always usually throw out the same advice, but for those who might be joining us for this being their first webinar, I always say, you know, use this downtime as productively as possible. Get your TIPS certification, training and intervention procedures for alcohol serving and selling. I myself am actually today and tomorrow becoming a classroom trainer. So I've got my manual right here. So I'll be able to, when I hopefully, knock on wood, pass tomorrow, be able to do classroom tips training. I'll actually be able to train people to get their tips certification. I know ServSafe had some programs for food handler that were free, even if they are not still, I'm not 100% sure, it doesn't matter. You know, it's always good to get them. Work on your promo resume, work on your online staffing portal profile, make sure it's up to date, great pictures, your most recent work. Follow any of the other industry webinars that are going on, such as the American Association of Event Professionals, Trusted Herd, and a few others are doing right now. Those are great, you know, great opportunity to hear from other industry leaders and other agency owners. And I see we've had some activity in the chat. I'm going to get to a few questions in a few minutes, but I wanted to go to our second general question for everyone. And we're switching up a little bit this week because everyone's talking about what's going to happen in the future. Everyone's starting to look past the COVID-19 outbreak to what's being referred to as the new normal. So I want to ask each one of our panelists, like, what do you see for the event industry being the new normal? Is it going to be, you know, radical changes, or is it going to be something as simple as, you know, event staff wearing masks and seeing hand sanitizer everywhere? So wherever you feel we're going to wind up when this all kind of, you know, passes, so to speak. Let's go in reverse order. Matthew, we'll start with you.
Oh boy, I get the scariest question that's like so nebulous. I get to go first. Thank you, guys. New normal, you know, I would love to believe that we're going to be back to like a normal in 2 months or 3 months or something like that. I hate to say it, but I think it's just further away, you know. You know, like I look at 2020 as kind of shot, you know, so to me, it's like, what does 2021 look like? You know, sort of recycling that. I think that we're going to see definitely like an increase in just general health safety awareness. You know, we've all of a sudden become, you know, amateur doctors over the last 6 weeks, you know, with the amount of media information we've received. So I think that there will be a huge increase in health safety at large events. I think that we'll see really big events that are 100,000 plus type people come down to like 10,000. I think you'll see lots and lots of those. And then I think that you're going to see like some hybrid stuff, you know, so like what HIO is doing, you know, you're going to see how, you know, everyone's gotten so comfortable with Zoom or, you know, Facebook or whatever the different, you know, visual messenger services are. That's going to become integrated into the event space in a way that it never had been before. And we always had the capacity to do it, but there was never a need to, and there wasn't a comfort with, you know, and now we're all so comfortable on this kind of stuff all the time. It's going to become that will be part of the new norm.
All right, thanks. Andraea, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I completely agree with that hybrid event format. I think what we are hearing from people, or even these people who are running these large conferences, now that they've kind of started to feel comfortable doing some webinars every week or every other week, they're saying, hey, why wasn't I doing this from the beginning to keep my members engaged and to keep people wanting to spread the word and invite their friends to these weekly things before coming to my big conferences? So I think that there might still be a space for that for a lot of these larger event hosts. Also, I think that people will be turning to live streaming for some of those larger conferences too. So where those 100,000 conferences went down to 10,000, a lot of people at home will still be streaming from their living rooms, because I think as we go forward, there will be a lot more caution taken by a lot of people who have closer experiences with what's been going on right now. So a lot of people, even when it is allowed, won't want to go into those big trade show floors and things. So I think live stream will become a big piece of things. And I think that importantly right now, we just can't stop connecting with people. And we want to keep all those relationships alive for when physical events do come back, and just keep connections alive, because you never know who you know. If you're underemployed or unemployed right now, you never know who might have the next great idea for virtual events or for a different kind of events we haven't even thought of yet, or a different safety option who will be hiring soon. So I would say just keep connecting and connecting and connecting, and moving forward, don't forget to keep up on your technology. And I will say download HIO as well, so you can keep those connections going.
All right, Gabrielle, your thoughts?
So Andraea, that was a perfect segue. I actually have been, I had someone talk to me about HIO for something I have in the works for our business. So as a business owner that's trying to stay ahead of COVID-19, that's in the events industry, I have to think of how I'm going to stay ahead of this, just like what I've been preaching, you know, staying ahead of it, being creative. And one of the ideas is using live stream in a very unique way, which hopefully I'll speak to Jason or, you know, one of these days to possibly get that started. But I do have something in the works. So I think the new normal is going to be a lot of different ideas. Like people are going to have these ideas about whether, like in the events industry, it's just going to be, some are going to be like completely probably out of left field. Some are going to seem really cool. Some are going to be total flops. But it's going to be this whole new world. It's just going to be a lot of trial and error with events now. And I think it's a really exciting time. I mean, you can look at it as, yeah, this kind of sucks. Or you can look at it as like, wow, there's a lot of opportunity here, because we have to think differently. So I think that there's some ideas that haven't even been, you know, out into the universe yet, that are still coming, that could really mean good things for a lot of people in this industry. So I think the new normal could be a really cool new normal. I do think the events will be smaller group size. I do agree with that. And, but I don't think they're canceled. I think people still, like, everyone is craving that, like, that physical, like being physically there. I don't think that's ever going to go away, because I just think it's human nature. I just think it's just going to be really different ways to make sure that's safe and make people feel comfortable. So I think it's a really exciting time for the future. You just never know what hasn't been announced yet that could be a game changer for a lot of people in this industry. So that's what I think. Thinking positive.
There you go. And Brey, your thoughts?
And you did the perfect segue for me. Love how this reverse order might work, you know? So, like I said before, I'm like one of those blindly optimistic people. So I believe that events are going to be more hybrid. I believe like in-person events are going to be more so of like a premium package where you get more amenities, of course, because you're in person. And I think, like Amanda was saying earlier, that live streaming from home, I think a lot of people are going to be doing that as well, especially because since companies are hosting more of these like webinars and these conferences virtually, they're going to see that, hey, they're saving a lot of money. So it either go, you know, one of two ways. Either, you know, it's booming, it's great, everyone's still interactive virtually, or they can see that, you know, people really crave that person-to-person contact, and they may need to go that route for future events. I do agree that events are going to be on a smaller scale, at least for the next year, because it's being more aware. It's been being made more aware that there are a lot of hygiene risks with keeping things clean, keeping things disinfected. Because even before working trade shows, how you like would do lead generation on tablets, I was always one of those people that's like, okay, I need to wipe after every person because you don't know who just sneezed in their hands. You don't know what people do, you know? I think people will be more aware as to, you know, disinfecting and keeping the environment a little bit more clean. I do see, as far as like in-store demos and tastings and samplings, I do see people having to wear masks. I actually thought about this maybe a year or two ago, having a mask on while you're cooking or handing out samples. I see that happening, or face shields. You know, I see the hats with the face shields covering. I think that's going to actually be a new norm. I'm not sure how long it's going to last. Earlier today, Trusted Heard in their live, I think they went live with, I wrote his name down. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but his name is Steve Randoza with Promotion. I actually asked him the question as well. I was like, you know, what do you see the future as the new norm being? And he said that, and I agreed with him. He said he think it's going to be a little short-lived as well. Once, you know, people start feeling more comfortable. He made a point saying, you know, most people can't hold on to their New Year's resolution past January 15th. So who knows how long these changes are going to stay in place. But I do think a lot of changes are going to happen, but I just don't think they're going to be permanent. I think it's just the changes are going to be in place until everyone feels a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more safe, and they feel like, you know, post-COVID that, you know, things are kind of returning back to normal per se, even though I don't think it's going to 100% return back to normal. I did see someone post earlier saying that they believe that trade shows are just going to not be in existence anymore. I disagree with that. I think that we're still going to have events like we used to, but it's just going to be a slow start to get back into those events. I don't think 2020 is completely shot. Maybe for large events, Matt. Maybe for large events and trade shows, it might be shot for those. But like Gabrielle said earlier, we're craving that person-to-person contact. I know I am. You know, I've been having cabin fever. I get my mood swings. I'm like, you know what? I just need some sunlight. Let me go outside and get some sunlight. I find myself talking to people in a grocery store, even though we're practicing social distancing. You know, we're 6 feet apart, but that doesn't mean I can't smile and talk to you. But I think there's still going to be events happening. It's just that we're going to be a little bit more careful as to how they're executed.
All right, great. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit a couple of the questions that have come in from our attendees through the chat. I'm going to paraphrase a couple of these just to save some time. And ironically, Brey, you're a segue into one of these questions we got from Rob Eddy here. How many brand ambassadors have switched gears and are working for like retailers for grocery, as an example? I know a lot of people are going out there taking temperatures, doing like cleaning of grocery stores, as well as the delivery services. I know that's huge for the restaurant industry that's trying to hang on. And finally, do you see brand ambassadors going back to the agencies when the opportunities present themselves? I mean, because there's going to be such a probably a lingering lifestyle change to be doing more deliveries of groceries and things like that. So I'll throw it out to any of our panelists. Brey and Matthew, I'm sure that you both want to chime in on this.
Do you want to go first, Matthew? Because I definitely do.
You go first. You go first.
So I will start by saying I am one of those brand ambassadors. I actually just got hired within this last week to do merchandising. This company actually, they plan to interview me to do tastings or samplings. However, that came to a halt. Hulk smash, but halt. That came to a halt, and they decided to utilize those brand ambassadors as merchandisers. So I've been going into stores, helping with resets. It's been fun, actually. And I think I've seen quite a few brand ambassadors online that are doing like Instacart, Grubhub. They're doing the deliveries as well. They're staying active. I don't remember the second part, but I want to touch on that.
Do you see like people going back to agencies? Like,
yeah,
that's what work. Okay.
Definitely, I definitely see people going back to agencies. Definitely.
All right. And Matthew, your thoughts?
So I think that there are tons of people that have gone into those types of temporary opportunities right now, whether they're the Grubhub or I know a couple of friends that are brand ambassadors that are doing, resets at night, exactly the same thing. I think that we'll see a smaller population come back to, the agencies, so like, unfortunately, I think that there's a ton of people that have done brand ambassador work and right now they're waiting for pay. They're still waiting for pay months and months and months and months down the road. And so everybody that like is kind of like, whoa, I don't want to be in that kind of industry. Even if I get paid, really well for the time, I don't want to ever be trying to chase money. I think that population will not come back. But the people that are in the industry that know what the industry is, that understand, that essentially you work for yourself, you get to choose the jobs you want to work, in the access opportunities you get, because that's for me like one of the best perks of our industry, like with access you get to like really cool stuff. They'll come back.
All right, great. And Andraea and Gabrielle, any thoughts?
I don't have much experience in this space,
okay.
But I do agree that I think some people will go back to those agencies just because of the drive that people like Brey have. It seems like, that optimism and that just that craving to go and be around people and bring light through products and just personality is there. And so they're going to go back.
All right. Cool. So I'm going to throw out try to squeeze one more question in that came in from Michelle McNabb. And I'll ask this to each of you individually. Who are you looking to be connected with right now? Who are you networking with? And I'll kind of elaborate on that question. Like, who do you want to be connected to? Who should you be talking to? And, who do you feel brand ambassadors should be talking to? Who do you feel that everyone in the event and gig industry should be networking with right now? Brey, what are your thoughts? You still on mute, Brey? There we go.
I think brand ambassadors should definitely be networking with other brand ambassadors, as well as, of course, agencies, mainly to share ideas and create opportunities, and to keep them in a positive mindset that anything's possible for the future. but definitely with other event professionals for sure. Yeah, that's it.
All right, Gabrielle, who are you networking with, and who should people be networking with?
Well, coincidentally, Al,
I know where you're going with
Michelle. I can't believe it. The smallest world. It's insane how the coincidence, but
just to inform everyone real quick, I was talking with Michelle McNabb for an hour and a half yesterday, a wonderful conversation about trade show promotional staffing, and your name got dropped, Gabrielle, as well as Jason Caprara's name got dropped, which is completely ironic considering that you're both on tonight. So sorry about that. Just to let everyone know what we were laughing about. But Gabrielle, your thoughts?
Yeah, always network. You seriously just never know. But yeah, so Michelle and I are connecting tomorrow about more networking, about what we have in store, which hopefully Hio might be a part of. But maybe everyone on the panel or the guests attending, if you know anyone that's looking for a plan B, they had a wedding or maybe an engagement party, like any kind of party that they had to, it was either canceled or they're looking to reschedule and their venue isn't being the best to work with, or they're maybe giving them the runaround, or maybe you just want to do something special for someone, for Father's Day, in June, it's a little far out. So maybe you can plan something for Father's Day that maybe you didn't have planned for Father's Day, but you're using it as an excuse to get everyone together. Just think of a yacht, because we do accommodate really any guest size. And it's, if you want to make it a little more special, spend a little bit more money, it might be an option for you. But yeah, really just anyone that needs a venue and they're by the water and they want to make something a little more special, just because now is the time to plan for something really special, because, we're all craving that human interaction. Just consider a yacht, and I'm your girl.
There you go. Love the plug there. All right. So Andraea, who are you networking with, and who should our teams be networking with?
Yes. First of all, hey, Michelle. We love Michelle. But we're a networking company, a networking platform. So our answer is just everyone. Everyone should be networking with everyone. And we are looking to network with everyone, but specifically event professionals, whether they are the host of an event, or maybe they were set to be a sponsor or exhibitor of an event that has been delayed or canceled. Maybe those people have a tie into the person who is organizing, so we can help make that a reality or bring back some portion of that, so that sponsors can still be seen, exhibitors can still be seen, brand ambassadors can still have a place to be, and all of that networking can take place. I think that as far as everyone else, networking, just like Gabrielle and Bray both said, networking with anyone you come into contact with is so important. So just, a little Hio plug there. We have a ton of partners who have free events right now, networking events. They either have webinars such as this one, or they have one-to-one video chat lounges if there's no webinar content to be had, and they're free. They're on the app. And I would just say, go in, find people who look interesting to you from their bios, and get to know people. Start chatting with anyone you can from your living room, while we're all stuck inside, because you just don't know what that's going to do for you or where it'll take you.
All right, great. Matt, what do you think?
Last but not least, I kind of have two groups that I'm really targeting. So it's, the owners of staffing agencies, and I am networking with those individuals, talking about what does the future look like and what are they doing and kind of how things are going for their network of staff. And then also directly with brand ambassadors. So, with the AAP, we just launched a brand ambassador roundtable. And this is where we're hoping to gather a group of brand ambassadors to become, part of the voice of the industry and to help continue to guide brand ambassadors. So I am actively networking with, people, that are brand ambassadors, that are field managers, that are CDL drivers, that are, they've worked in the industry, and they want to, continue to see it thrive and grow. And then I'm open to networking with anyone. I'll throw my LinkedIn up here in the comment section, and I would please shoot me a note.
That would be great. If everyone wants to drop in their LinkedIn profile link, that'll be great to share. That leads us into, we're wrapping it up in a couple minutes. Just want to go over a couple final things for our agency. We'll be looking to do this again in a couple of weeks, probably on May 20th. We'll have different panelists coming in to present their perspectives and thoughts. If anyone thinks of a question after this webinar is over or is watching on YouTube afterwards, let me know and I'll try to forward those questions on to our panelists to get you some answers. A little shameless self-promotion for our agency. We are doing virtual happy hours every other Wednesday that we aren't doing the industry webinars. These are like 2-hour, very informal, jump into Zoom, talk about what's going on in your life, what's going on in the industry, have some fun. We're also doing a video contest where we are giving away 1 tips training certification each week. Brey was our week 1 winner. I still have to announce our week 2 winner. I've been tied up a little bit this week. This week's topic is, what is the most challenging part of brand ambassador work? You can find all of the information on our Facebook page. Just make a quick 15 to 60-second video, submit it, and you get a chance to win a tips passport. That's basically to cover the cost of the course. It's normally $40, but you have a chance to win it for free. So finally, we're going to wrap up with final thoughts. We're going to go once again around our little circle of panelists here. Let's get any final thoughts, any motivation you have for anyone who's listening out there. Brey, we'll start with you.
I would say stay positive, stay optimistic. And it's okay that you don't know what the future holds. See that as an opportunity. I'm going to put my plug in here. Check me out on YouTube. Hashtag promo life. I should be one of the first profiles to pop up. But keep your head up and stay positive. We're going to make it through.
All right. Thanks, Gabrielle.
Yeah, definitely agree. Stay positive and keep your head up, and just decide, do you want to be on the side that thrives during this situation, or do you just want to be left behind? So just tell yourself every day, I'm going to be on the side that thrives, because there are people already there that are way ahead of the game. So just keep striving to thrive.
Great. And Andraea.
Yeah, so in addition to echoing those things, I would say make sure that you're doing one thing every day, even if it's only one, that's going to make that happen, that thriving on the other side. So do something to help yourself, to broaden your network, to increase your sphere of influence, and you'll come out knowing more people, having more friends, and maybe some more skills too.
All right, great. Matthew, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. First, Breyona, man, you are so much fun. It's been a blast. So your energy and enthusiasm is so infectious. It's just great to be around folks like you. So I would say 2 things. 1, find people like Breyona that keep in your life, because they will improve it. And then 2, I make like little lists, and, I start my day, I make a little list. And then at the end of the day, I can go back over that list, and maybe it's 1 thing, maybe it's 2 things, but I get to find little wins. And right now, sometimes you just got to find little wins. And so that's something I can tactically do, that I get to the end of the day and it's like, I got my little win for the day.
All right, thanks, Matt. I'll finish up with my my final thoughts. First of all, if you're feeling down because, money's not coming in, you're out of work, bills are piling up, just remember, we're all in this together. This isn't a youth thing. This isn't a neighborhood thing or a city thing. This is a global thing. We are all going through this together. And always, take this time to not only work on yourself and, take care of yourself, but take care of others. Keep in touch with people. People are very down, very depressed. Right now, because of what's going on, look into everyone, especially the high-risk people in your life, any of your family or friends with, pre-existing conditions who are older. Look at this really as an opportunity to, be out there, help people, and, turn this into something positive. There's a lot of negative, but, The most important thing right now is to think positive and to look forward to the future. So that being said, thank you again to all of our panelists. Thanks to all of our attendees. Thanks to everyone who's watching this on YouTube. And if you have any questions, please message me through Facebook Messenger, and look forward to seeing you at the Brand Ambassador and Promo Industry Update number 4. Thanks a lot and have a great night.